Good morning, friends. Honestly, I'm not feeling it today. I'm here and we're going to do this, but clearly I have no desire, which I guess is like where your good stuff comes from. I don't know what other word I was trying to say, right? But like athletes that are training for the Olympics and have no desire still have to get up and drag their butt to training. So I know that we're not an Olympic athlete, but we're still making it happen. 2 days before Christmas, when I have absolutely no desire to be sitting here. So sorry, but it's the truth. So we're going to get this done. We have 3 days worth to read today because I've been gone for a little while trying to get stuff done for Christmas. Hope that you guys are all ready for your Christmas. I'm not ready, which is part of why I don't want to be sitting here. I've got a ton to do. But I hope that you are. I hope that you've done a better job of preparing than I have. Are you surprised? Really? 4 children and a slacker mom. It doesn't really happen. So we're going to start in Psalms, and we're going to be jumping around a little bit. So again, I'll tell you where we're going to be so that we can get caught up. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. We are reading through the Bible chronologically in a year, and we are on day 127 or 128, which is exciting. It's imperfect because we don't do it every day, but we're here and we're going to do it. So without further ado, we're going to jump on in because, like I said, I got ish to do, so we need to be done. Shouldn't say that when you're reading the Bible. Psalm 25 is where we're starting. All right. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. I trust in you, my God. Do not let me be disgraced or let my enemies rejoice in my defeat. No one who trusts in you will ever be disgraced, but disgrace comes to those who try to deceive others. Show me the path where I should walk, O Lord. Point out the right road for me to follow. Lead me by your truth and teach me, for you are a God who saves me. All day long I put my hope in you. Remember, O Lord, your unfailing love and compassion, which you have shown from long ages past. Forgive the rebellious sins of my youth, and look instead through the eyes of your unfailing love, for you are merciful, O Lord. The Lord is good and does what is right. He shows the proper path to those who go astray. He leads the humble in what is right, teaching them his ways. The Lord leads with unfailing love and faithfulness all of those who keep his covenant and obey his decrees. For the honor of your name, O Lord, forgive my many, many sins. Who are those who fear the Lord? He will show them the path they should choose. They will live in prosperity, and their children will inherit the promised land. Friendship with the Lord is reserved for those who fear him. With them he shares the secrets of his covenant. My eyes are always looking for the Lord for help, and he alone can rescue me from the traps of my enemies. Jack, come! Our neighbors are outside, and whenever our neighbors are outside, Jack goes and stands there and just barks, which is really irritating to me. But I digress. Turn from me and have mercy on me, for I am alone and in deep distress. My problems go from bad to worse. Oh, save me from them all. Feel my pain and see my trouble. Forgive all my sins. See how many enemies I have and how viciously they hate me. Protect me and rescue my life from them. Do not let me be disgraced, for I trust in you. May integrity and honesty protect me, for I put my hope in you. O God, ransom Israel from all its troubles. Hey, Barky Barkerson. You can't go outside right now. Mom's reading. I should have closed the door. Okay, Psalm 29. Are you ready? Maybe you should lay down. Yeah, see, the neighbors are definitely there. Okay, Psalm 29. Give honor to the Lord, your angels. Give honor to the Lord for his glory and strength. Give honor to the Lord for the glory of his name, and worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness. The voice of the Lord echoes above the sea, and the God of glory thunders. The Lord thunders over the mighty sea, and the voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord splits the mighty cedars, and the Lord shatters the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon's mountains skip like a calf, and Mount Hermon to leap like a young bull. The voice of the Lord strikes with lightning bolts and makes the deserts quake. The Lord shakes the desert of Kadesh, and the voice of the Lord twists mighty oaks and strips the forest bare. In his temple everyone shouts glory. The Lord rules over the floodwaters and reigns as king forever. The Lord gives his people strength and blesses them with peace. Okay, that was, where the heck am I? 29. Okay, so now we're going to 33. Let the godly sing with joy to the Lord, for it is fitting to praise him. Praise the Lord with melodies on the lyre. Make music for him on the 10-stringed harp. Sing new songs of praise to him, and play skillfully on the harp and sing with joy. For the word of the Lord holds true, and everything he does is worthy of our trust. He loves whatever is just and good, and his unfailing love fills the earth. The Lord merely spoke, and the heavens were created. He breathed the word, and the stars were born. He gave the sea its boundaries and locked the oceans in vast reservoirs. That's a fun word to read. Reservoirs. Let everyone in the world fear the Lord, and let everyone stand in awe of him. For when he spoke, the world began. It appeared at his command. The Lord shatters the plans of the nations and thwarts all of their schemes. But the Lord's plans stand firm forever. His intentions can never be shaken. What joy for the nation whose God is the Lord, whose people has chosen for his own. The Lord looks down from heaven and sees the whole human race. From his throne he observes all who live on earth. He made their hearts, so he understands everything they do. The best equipped army cannot save a king, nor great strength enough to save a warrior. Don't count on your war horse to give you victory, for all of its strength it cannot save you. But the Lord watches over those who fear him, those who rely on his unfailing love. He rescues them from death and keeps them alive in times of famine. We depend on the Lord alone to save us, and only he can protect us, protecting us like a shield. In him our hearts rejoice, for we are trusting in his holy name. Let your unfailing love surround us, Lord, for our hope is in you alone. All right, that was 33. Now Psalm 36. Ooh, sin whispers to the wicked. Deep within their hearts. Sin whispers to the wicked, deep within their hearts. I think sin has whispered to me a time or two. They have no fear of God to restrain them, and in their blind conceit they cannot see how wicked they really are. Everything they say is crooked and deceitful. They refuse to act wisely or to do what is good. They lie awake at night hatching sinful plots, and the course of their action is never good. They make no attempt to turn from evil. Well, there you go. I have attempted to turn from evil, so at least I don't hit all those. Your unfailing love, O God, is as vast as the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches beyond the clouds. Your righteousness is like a mighty mountain, and your justice like the ocean depths. You care for people and animals alike, O Lord, and how precious is your unfailing love, O God. All humanity finds shelter in the shadow of your wings. You feed them from the abundance of your own house, letting them drink from your rivers of delight. For you are the fountain of life, the light by which we see. Pour out your unfailing love on those who love you. Give justice to those with honest hearts, and don't let the proud trample me. Don't let the wicked push me around. Look, they have fallen. They have thrown down, never to rise again. Okay. Aw, thank you for the flower. I'm sorry that Bill's having a bad day. Glad you guys are here. Okay, so the last part of Psalms that we're going to read for right now is chapter 39. So that is this one. I said to myself, I will watch what I do and not sin in what I say. I will curb my tongue when the ungodly are around me. But as I stood there in silence, not even speaking of good things, the turmoil within me grew to the bursting point. My thoughts grew hot within me and began to burn, igniting a fire of words. Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered and that my life is fleeing away. My life is no longer than the width of my hand, and my entire lifetime is just moments to you. Human existence is but a breath. Jack is still staring out the window. We are merely moving shadows. All our busy rushing ends in nothing. We heap up wealth for someone else to spend. Wow, does that feel like the Christmas season? We are merely moving shadows, and all of our busy rushing ends in nothing. Right? Like, how much craziness am I spending to have, like, wrapping paper just discarded all over the floor? All of our busyness ends in nothing. We heap up wealth for someone else to spend. And so, Lord, where do I put my hope? My hope is in you. Rescue me from my rebellion, for even fools mock me when I rebel. I am silent before you, and I won't say a word, for my punishment is from you. Please don't punish me anymore. I am exhausted by the blows from your hand, and when you discipline people for their sins, their lives can be crushed like the life of a moth. Human existence is as frail as breath. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Listen to my cries for help, and don't ignore my tears. For I am your guest, a traveler passing through as my ancestors were before me. Spare me so I can smile again before I'm gone and exist no more. Wow, that was a really powerful one. Okay, so now we're going to 2 Samuel 8 and 9. And I have a feeling we're reading 2 Samuel 8 and 9 and then 1 Chronicles 18. They're probably going to mirror each other like they have been lately because we're reading the Bible chronologically. So this is 2 Samuel chapter 8. After this, David subdued and humbled the Philistines by conquering Gath, their largest city. David also conquered the land of Moab. He made the people lie down on the ground in a row, and he measured them off in groups with length of rope. Made them lie on the ground in a row and measure them off in groups. He measured off 2 groups to be executed for every 1 group to be spared. The Moabites who were spared became David's servants and brought him tribute money. David also destroyed the forces of Hadazer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. When Hadadezer marched out to strengthen his control on the Euphrates River, David captured 1,700 charioteers and 20,000 foot soldiers. Then he crippled all but 100 of the chariot horses. Poor horses. When the Arameans from Damascus arrived to help Hadadezer, David killed 22,000 of them. Then he placed several army garrisons in Damascus, the Aramean capital, and the Arameans became David's subjects and brought him tribute money. So the Lord gave David victory wherever he went. David brought the gold shields of Hadadezer's officers to Jerusalem, along with a large amount of bronze from Hadadezer's cities of Teba and Berothai. When King Toiaphamath heard that David had destroyed the army of Hadadezer, he sent his son Joram to congratulate David on his success. Hadadezer and Toi had long been enemies, and there had been many wars between them. Joram presented David with many gifts of gold, silver, and bronze. King David dedicated all of these gifts to the Lord, along with the silver and gold he had set apart from the other nations he had subdued: Edom, Moab, Ammon, Philistia, and Amalek, from Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. So David became very famous, and after his return, he destroyed 18,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt. He placed army garrisons throughout Edom, and all the Edomites became David's subjects. This was another example of how the Lord made David victorious wherever he went. David reigned over all of Israel and was fair to everyone, except the poor horses. Joab, son of Zeruiah, was commander of the army, and Jehoshaphat, son of Ahudid, was the royal historian. Zadok, son of Ahihub, and Ahimelech, son of Abithar, were the priests. Sariah was the court secretary, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was the captain of the king's bodyguard. David's sons served as the priestly leaders. Chapter 9. One day, David began wondering if anyone in Saul's family was still alive, for he had promised Jonathan that he would show kindness to them. He summoned a man named Ziba, who had been one of Saul's servants. "Are you Ziba?" the king asked. "Yes, I am," Ziba replied. The king asked him, "Is anyone still alive from Saul's family? If so, I want to show God's kindness to them in any way I can." Ziba replied, "Yes, one of Jonathan's sons is still alive, but he is crippled." "Where is he?" the king asked. "In Lo-debar," Ziba told him, "at the home of Machir, son of Ammiel." So David sent for him and brought him to Machir's home. His name was Mephibosheth. I know that name. Mephibosheth. He was Jonathan's son and Saul's grandson. When he came to David, he bowed low in great fear and said, "I am your servant." But David said, "Don't be afraid. I've asked you to come so that I can be kind to you because of my vow to your father Jonathan. I will give you all the land that once belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you may live here with me at the palace." Mephibosheth fell to the ground before the king. "Should the king show such kindness to a dead dog like me?" he exclaimed. Then the king summoned Saul's servant Ziba and said, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and servants are to farm the land for him and to produce food for his family. But Mephibosheth will live here at the palace with me." Ziba, who had 15 sons and 20 servants, replied, "Yes, my lord, I will do all that you have commanded." And from that time on, Mephibosheth ate regularly with David as though he were one of his own sons. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah, and from then on, all the members of Ziba's household were Mephibosheth's servants. And Mephibosheth, who was crippled in both feet, moved to Jerusalem to live at the palace. Well, pays to be Jonathan's son in this instance. Okay, 1 Chronicles 18. Okay, after this, David subdued and humbled the Philistines by conquering Gath and its surrounding towns. David also conquered the land of Moab, and the Moabites became David's subjects and brought him tribute money. Then David destroyed the forces of King Hadadezer at Zobah as far as Hamath, where Hadadezer marched out to strengthen his control along the Euphrates River. David captured 1,000 chariots, 7,000 charioteers, and 20,000 foot soldiers. Then he crippled all but 100 of the chariot horses. When Arameans from Damascus arrived to help Hadadezer, David killed 22,000 of them. Then he placed several army garrisons in Damascus, the Aramean capital, and the Arameans became David's subjects and brought him tribute money. The Lord gave David victory wherever he went, and David brought the gold shields of Hadadezer's officers to Jerusalem, along with a large amount of bronze from Hadadezer's cities of Teba and Kun. Later, Solomon melted the bronze and used it for the temple. He molded it into the bronze sea, the pillars, and the various bronze utensils used at the temple. When King Toyahamath heard that David had destroyed the army of King Hadadezer of Zobah, he sent his son Joram to congratulate David on his success. Hadadezer and Toy had long been enemies, and had been many wars between them. Joram presented David with many gifts of gold, silver, and bronze, and King David dedicated all of these gifts to the Lord, along with the silver and gold he had taken from other nations that he had subdued: Edom, Moab, Ammon, Philistia, and Amalek. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, destroyed 18,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt, and he placed army garrisons throughout Edom, and all the Edomites became David's subjects. This was another example of how the Lord made David victorious wherever he went. That's interesting. They didn't say that Abishai did it in the last chapter. They said David did it. David reigned over all of Israel and was fair to everyone, and Joab, son of Zeruiah, was commander of the army. Josaphat, son of Ahiludad, was the royal historian, and Zadok, son of Adahub, and Amalek, son of Abithar, were the priests. Sariah was the court secretary, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was captain of the king's bodyguard. David's sons served as the king's chief assistants. Here's what I'm wondering while we're looking up Psalm 50. So people have said lots of times, like, how do they decide what books got to be in the Bible, right? Because it's a collection of things that a bunch of different people have written at the time, from what I understand. So, like, a lot of the Psalms were written by David, and Job was written by Job, things like that. So I know that they're putting both of these, like, everything that's in here is in here for a reason. It was God ordained, it's in here for a reason. And I know that they put things in for different perspectives. But if you're trying to condense it, like, this is big. It's a big book. It's going to take us a whole entire year to read the whole thing. It's big. So if you're trying to condense it, why would you have things that completely repeat? I don't understand. If anybody could answer that question, because I know that they're in there for a reason, and I know that we're supposed to be reading this story, but it's literally, like, when you go from 2 Samuel 8 and 9 to 1 Chronicles 18, it's the exact same thing. Like, we just read the same thing twice. So I know that it was a different perspective, but why wouldn't they have just picked one? Just questions that I have today. Okay, so we are going to read a couple more things in Psalms before we're done for the day. This is our last day's worth, and we're starting at Psalm 50. The mighty God, the Lord, has spoken. He has summoned all humanity from east to west. From Mount Zion, the perfection of beauty, God shines in glorious radiance. Our God approaches with the noise of thunder, and fire devours everything in his way. A great storm rages around him, and heaven and earth will be his witnesses as he judges his people. Bring my faithful people to me, those who made a covenant with me by giving sacrifices. Then let the heavens proclaim his justice, for God himself will be the judge. O my people, listen as I speak. Here are my charges against you, O Israel. I am God, your God. I have no complaint about your sacrifices or the burnt offerings you constantly bring to my altar, but I want no more bulls from your barns. I want no more goats from your pens. For all the animals of the forest are mine, and I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. Every bird of the mountains and all the animals of the field belong to me. If I were hungry, I would not mention it to you, for all the world is mine and everything in it. There goes Jack again. I don't need the bulls you sacrifice, and I don't need the blood of goats. What I want instead is your true thanks to God. I want you to fulfill your vows to the Most High. Trust me in your times of trouble, and I will rescue you, and you will give me glory. But God says to the wicked, recite my laws no longer, and don't pretend that you obey me. For you refuse my discipline and treat my laws like trash. When you see a thief, you help him, and you spend your time with adulterers. Your mouths are filled with wickedness, and your tongues are full of lies. You sit around and slander a brother. Your mother's own son. When you did all of this, I remained silent, and you thought I didn't care. But now I will rebuke you, listing all my charges against you. Repent, all of you who ignore me, or I will tear you apart, and no one will help you. But giving thanks is a sacrifice that truly honors me. And if you keep to my path, I will reveal to you the salvation of God. 53. Only fools say in their hearts there is no God. They are corrupt and their actions are evil. No one does good. God looks down from the heavens on the entire human race, and he looks to see if there is even one with real understanding, one who seeks for God. But no, all have turned away from God and all have become corrupt. No one does good, not even one. Will those who do evil never learn? They eat up my people like bread. They wouldn't think of praying to God. But then terror will grip them, terror like they have never known before. God will scatter the bones of your enemies, and you will put them to shame, for God has rejected them. Oh, that salvation will come from Mount Zion to rescue Israel. For when God restores his people, Jacob will shout with joy, and Israel will rejoice. Okay, chapter 60, Psalm 60. You have rejected us, O God, and broken our defenses. You've been angry with us. Now restore us to your favor. You've shaken our land and split it open. Seal the cracks before it completely collapses. You've been very hard on us, making us drink wine that sent us reeling. But you have raised a banner for those who honor you, a rallying point in the face of attack. Use your strong right arm to save us and rescue your beloved people. God has promised this by his holiness. I will divide up Shechem with joy. I will measure out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine. Ephraim will produce my warriors, and Edom will be my slave, and I will shout in triumph over the Philistines. But who will bring me into a fortified city? Who will bring me victory over Edom? Have you rejected us, O God? Will you no longer march with our enemies? Please help us against our enemies, for all human help is useless. With God's help, we will do mighty things, and he will trample down our foes. All right, friends, last chapter for today is Psalm 75. And then we are done. We thank you, O God, and we give thanks because you are near. People everywhere tell of your mighty miracles. God says, at the time I have planned, I will bring justice against the wicked. When the earth quakes and its people live in turmoil, I am the one who keeps its foundations firm. I warned the proud, stop your boasting. I told the wicked, don't raise your fists. Don't lift your fists in defiance at the heavens or speak with a rebellious arrogance. For no one on earth, from east to west or even from the wilderness, can raise another person up. It is God alone who judges. He decides who will rise and who will fall. For the Lord holds a cup in his hand full of foaming wine mixed with spices. He pours out the wine in judgment, and all the wicked must drink it, draining it to the dregs. But as for me, I will always proclaim what God has done. I will sing praises to the God of Israel. For God says, I will cut off the strength of the wicked and increase the power of the godly. All right, friends, that is enough for today. We are all caught up. Jack is barking his head off, so I'm going to go and let him outside. I hope that you guys have a fantastic Thursday and that you get all your Christmas stuff done, because tomorrow's Christmas Eve. So good to see you. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye.